What is going on, Coaching Collective? Welcome to call number 14. We are going to be covering general health and well-being today. This is a topic that I think is super, super important, and it covers a very broad spectrum of things. So we are going to kind of get into it. And for you guys on the call, this is one of those ones where I sincerely encourage you to like talk and ask questions during it, or even if you're like, oh, could also this be it? I'll be like, yes. Thank you for involving yourself in this conversation. So let's dive in. General health and well-being. So before we can even really talk about what the layers of this is, we have to understand what general health and well-being actually are. So the definition of health and well-being, so health is the state of being free from illness or injury. And health is a person's mental or physical condition. Well-being is the state of being comfortable, healthy, or happy. So how many people do you know that embody comfort in their lives, full health in their lives, and full happiness in their lives?
Not a lot of people.
Not a lot of people, right? Well, there's a reason for that. And that's what we're going to dive into here today. So these are this is the premise we're going off of, right? Person's mental and physical condition, them being free from illness or injury, and how comfortable, healthy, and happy they are in their routine, and why their habits are putting them further away from feeling these exact things. Because this will affect how your body responds physically as well. So layers of one's health. Now, this is not an inclusive list. There are more layers in this. These are just the ones that I set out the gate. So you have your nutrition, your lifestyle, the environment that you're in, traumas that you have encountered earlier on in your life, stress, any point in time in your life, unresolved emotions, which is a separate layer of traumas, but they kind of can show up the same physically. And then basically anything that circulates, surrounds, or resonates inside of an individual on any level is going to be their health. Anything, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual. Like, I'm sure you guys have all felt this before. Your dog dies, right? You're sad. And for like 2-3 days, your health is down the gutter, right? You're barely eating, you're barely sleeping, or you're eating like shit and you don't feel good. And then you start having habits that perpetuate that downward spiral more and more, right? And then people go, well, I was so depressed after that breakup, I gained 15 pounds, so I couldn't stop myself. Yes, because that layer of their health was unstable, so others fell down. Does that make sense? Yeah, cool. So again, this is not all inclusive. Like, I'm sure you guys could think of another layer. Just because I didn't write it here doesn't mean that's not a layer of somebody's health. People can also choose layers of their health, you know? So I'm going to kind of break down in this presentation. I'm going to go over each of these basically. All right. Now, the one that is hands down the most in depth is nutrition. This is going to be probably 75% of this slide. I think we have 18 slides today. So like, won't take up a ton of your time, but nutrition is the majority of this. So nutrition, in my opinion, because remember guys, these are just my opinions. These are not Bible. It's the gateway to everything, both good and bad. It is a double-sided door. So poor nutritional habits are going to open the gateway to disease, sickness, obesity, mental health problems, gut issues, body aches, low energy, etc. Quality nutritional habits are going to open the gateway to functioning systems, a reversal of majority of health issues. Yes, I fucking said it. I truly believe that optimizing your nutrition will reverse poor mental health states that you are in. But remember, I don't know if we've gone over this, but 90% of serotonin is actually produced in your gut. It's not produced in the brain. It's produced in the gut. So your nutrition plays a very big role on how your mental state is. How many of you guys have been bloated and then you feel like shit all day and you're in a crabby mood? Right? Yeah, there's a reason. So longevity, less aches and pains, the ability to see life clearly. This one's huge. And it's something that not a lot of people like note on more is clarity, mental clarity. Like, have you guys ever experienced a mental fog? I'm sure everybody has like mental fog. And you don't even realize that you're in it until you get out of it. and you go, holy shit, what have I been doing the last 2 years of my life? What am I doing the last year of my life? Right? Like your nutrition will play a role on a cellular level, how your body responds and how you feel and how you see life, because it's literally what's fueling your body. Right. So, and you'll notice I use vibrational differences just because, like, you get what I'm saying here. In these you'll notice vibrational differences in these individuals with how they show up and go about their lives and how they view things. So to me, it's very, very easy to see somebody who's making poor nutritional choices if they're very emotionally reactive, if they are always complaining about things, if they're constantly depressed, if they're constantly like, oh God, like I was doing this and that, right? They're just constantly, there's always something wrong. And you guys can try to challenge me on this. I almost guarantee you every single person has poor nutritional choices. And whereas the other side, if you see people who are happy, they're more grounded, they're more calm when they talk, they're able to clearly articulate their emotions and see things. Usually there's higher quality fuel going into the machine, right? Does everybody get that? I feel like that makes pretty good sense. Yeah, cool. Nutrition continued. The food shelves in stores are literally filled with poisons. Yes, literal poisons. And again, I fucking said it. Yes, it's poison. So majority of you guys, probably all of you, have your clients track macros, right? You have your clients track macros? Raise your hand. Do you track macros? Raise your hand. Cool. We're all on agreements here. But if it fits your macros is not fully respected, I personally believe this is the number one cause for roughly 90% of the issues you'll see in your athletes. Them abusing if it fits your macros, them going, well, I have 50 grams of carbs, so I'm going to have ice cream. I'm going to do, I'm going to do this. So I'm going to have Pop-Tarts. Like they're eating 1600 calories a day, but they're fitting Pop-Tarts in still in some way, shape, or form. It's like, no wonder you feel like shit. And again, down to a cellular level, the food we eat takes a part in every function of our well-being. Who remembers what well-being is? What's the definition of well-being? I saw nobody write it down, so I'm going to be impressed if somebody got it. Let's go back. The state of being comfortable, healthy, or happy. So down to a cellular level, the food we eat takes part in those functions. This is the most important thing that you can ever teach and pass on to your athletes. I will truly believe that, because at the end of the day, all of your clients are eventually not going to want to be coached anymore, right? All of you who are being coached and are competitors, you're eventually not going to do that anymore. And you have the rest of your life ahead of you. And these are the things that you need to take and ingrain in those people. Because at the end of the day, as coaches, it is literally our responsibility to inform and teach our clients how to go about this life the best possible way. It can't always just be short-sighted on a bodybuilding goal. It has to look at everything full, in my opinion. Some people, if you want to do short-sighted, that's fine. I always try to look at the long term. Because again, in 5 years, when they don't want to be top dog anymore, they don't want to be shredded anymore, and they just want to feel happy and they haven't learned any of this, it's going to be really hard. So let's cut the bullshit. Why are you food focused? Why is your client food focused? Why do they feel that they have an unhealthy relationship with food and can't control themselves? Well, and again, this is going to be a very contradictory slide here, but food is being designed to make you think about it more, crave it, and become addicted to it. Yes, I'm a conspirator, sure. But what makes more sense for companies that literally profit off of us rebuying their products? Does it make more sense that they're not trying to get you addicted to these products? Or does it make more sense that they're adding chemicals that literally force you to crave it and constantly think about it? What makes more sense? Do you think that the Kellogg's man is worried about your long-term health? No, the Kellogg man's worried about cashing a paycheck. He doesn't give a shit about you. He wants you addicted, right? These simple sugars, they send blood glucose crazy. They can impede the real hunger cue signals in your gut, and it can even shift your palate to want more and more. So you're having these foods come in. They're not satiating you. They're very calorie dense. So now you're eating more of those same foods because you're craving it. So for you to get full, like, dude, has anybody ever tried to knock out like 500 calories worth of watermelon? Like, dude, it's a fucking lot of watermelon. Like it's a very voluminous meal. You do 500 calories of Pop Tarts, you're gonna feel like you didn't even eat anything. So you're gonna continue to shovel in more and more. It becomes a never-ending cycle. And I want you to start looking at shit food addiction as a drug addiction, because in my opinion, it's truly no different. It's no different. It's a drug addiction. And when your clients are struggling with their relationship with food, we have to look at like what their habits are and what they're doing and what their lifestyle looks like and what foods they're consuming and what foods they're keeping in their house. Because remember, like coke, or I'm trying to think of, like, meth is addicting, right? So if somebody's like, oh, I only smoke meth on the weekends, but they've got meth in their cabinet, they're probably going to do it more times throughout the week because it's accessible to them and they've hit it and their brain knows, oh, that's what I want. So being able to offset that and understand, okay, like, again, controversial topic here, you're not food focused. You're the effect that the food is supposed to have on you is having its effect on you. Does that make sense? Does everybody get what I'm trying to say there? Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's move on. Nutrition continued. Some ingredients to be weary of. So this is a couple, again, not inclusive, just a couple of things came to my head. So natural and artificial flavors, these are actually formulated to keep you addicted. And they're made of hundreds of different chemicals. So anytime you see natural artificial flavorings, like, we should know right there that, okay, like, who can give me an example of something that has a natural and artificial flavor that you like drink or eat that you go, fuck, I can't have, like, I have one and I have to have them all? I'll
Or
wait. What?
Oreos, probably.
Oreos, dude. Who here can eat one Oreo and close the bag? Give me a fucking break. Are you kidding? Not a chance. Lay's potato chip, their slogan is literally, you can't have just one. You literally can't, right? Think about Diet Cokes or sodas or things like that. The more you drink, the more you crave, because those chemicals are causing addiction, chemical reactions in your brain. Sucralose. Now, we know there's ridiculous amounts of evidence and literature on this, that we know that sucralose alters the gut microbiome, and poor gut health equals poor hormone health, which equals poor mental health, right? Because we just talked about it, serotonin into the brain, right? So sucralose is something that I prefer everybody steer clear of. Another really important one is vegetable oil. Vegetable oil is insanely inflammatory in our systems, and it actually oxidizes inside the body. Who here has pretty good digestion, but when they go out to eat at restaurants, no matter where, they usually blow up and they bloat, right? Because I'm this way. Well, you know what they dominantly use to cook things in restaurants? It's usually vegetable oil because it's cheap. So I'm not saying that that's the only reason that you blow it, but I'm just saying that's something to consider. Now, asulfame potassium is another sweetener that stimulates cravings and appetite. So again, look at the products that you're drinking and eating and consuming and start looking for chemicals like this. And it starts to become more of like not to sound like a conspirator, but it ends up becoming more of a business than anything, right? Because like when I look at products like this, I go, these guys are literally putting shit in here to make me addicted to this product so that I come back and give them more of my money, which in return is deteriorating my health, which is going to make me have to go and spend money elsewhere, right? So like by continuously doing these, you're losing money and you're losing health. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Citric acid, this one's interesting. Citric acid is actually a derivative of black mold from genetically modified sugar. Yes. So if somebody has mold sensitivity, this will further worsen their health because it is quite literally a derivative of black mold. Citric acid, I'd be wary of it. And so these are the only ingredients that I chose, because I would just encourage you guys to do some more deep dive onto your own like ingredients and come up with your own solutions and things. Because like this stuff's really important. We don't think it's important right now, but when you compound this shit in your diet for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, And then you're presented with all of these chronic gut issues and health issues and hormone issues and emotion issues. And we turn around and we go, I don't get it. I hit my macros all the time. What happened? Well, macros can't save you from chemical poisoning. Everybody still with me? Cool. Nutrition continued again. Yes, it's that important. So my questions for you guys, what guidelines do you have for your athletes right now? Are they mandated to have fruits, veggies, whole grains, or do they just quite literally pick their poison? It's important to give these people guidelines. What are they drinking? Where are they drinking water from? Are they getting it from the tap? Are they drinking plastic bottles that are sitting in their car and, in the sun, and the plastic is absorbing into the water and then they're drinking it? These are all important to note and teach your clients. Like BPA free water bottles are probably the best bet. Water filtration systems. What's the one that goes in your refrigerator? What is it? Brita. Thank you. Like a Brita filter, things like that. And they actually have, like, for like $200-300, they have like water filtration systems that you can hook up to your sink that filtrate the water. And again, if we look at compounding this over 1, 2, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, a $300 investment to filter out all of the toxic metals and minerals that are going into your water or into your body definitely adds up if you think about how expensive it is to have like hospital bills. So, and then the other one is, how many superfoods are they working on a daily basis? With that, oh shoot, I messed up. That's supposed to be the next slide. Superfoods, not all inclusive. Dude, if you Google superfoods, you're going to be on Google for a freaking year. And I added a nootropic channel into the Slack channel, but I also want to add a superfood channel. And for all of you guys on the call right now and everybody who's watching the call, I actually am going to give out my first homework bit that I want you guys to do. I want you guys to all find like a superfood. I don't care if people post the same one, but guys, I want you to do your own research, find a superfood and just like do like a brief paragraph rundown of like what the health benefits are from it and post it in that Slack channel. You guys do that for me? Yeah. And also, are you guys cool? Like, do you like if I start giving like little things like that for us to do, just to kind of like keep it a little bit more, like keep you guys a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Accountable for doing research and stuff. Yeah. You guys like that? I think it'd be cool. So superfoods, dark leafy greens, eggs, legumes, berries are pretty much going to be on every superfood list, like berries, nuts and seeds, garlic, kiwi, and cacao. Those are my picks right here, but I promise you there is a ridiculous world of superfoods. And once you dive into these, dude, like, I don't know if you guys were following me when I did the whole sea moss kick, but sea moss is a nutty superfood. It has like 108 of the 110 minerals that we need. And it's got iodine to support the thyroid, everything. Like, it's crazy. So I want you guys all to have those done by this week. Everybody try to find one and post it in the Slack channel by the end of this week. So nutrition continued. What are we starting and ending our day with nutritionally? Because that's going to set the tone. This one's super, super important. So are our clients waking up in the morning with Pop-Tarts, or are they waking up and having a nutrient dense smoothie and a side of eggs, right? I use eggs because it's a superfood, right? So when it comes to clients who wake up, and like we've talked about morning routines with a circadian video, but when you wake up and you immediately go to work and you're stressed and you go, oh, I'm going to grab a Pop-Tart on the way out. Well, you're pretty much setting yourself up, you're setting your well-being up to not be very well, right? So same thing, it'll set the tone for digestion. It'll set the tone for stress response. It'll set the tone for mood for your entire day. And I truly believe that. I don't have any literature to back that up. This is subjective that I've seen and done with all my clients and myself. So really just challenging our clients, like, hey, wake up 10 minutes earlier, you lazy sack of crap, make yourself a smoothie. And then same thing. Are they going to bed with protein pancakes and nut butter? Or are they having a high quality meal of veggies, grains, meats? Because again, when we sleep, right, we're starting our fast. So whatever we eat before bed, and then when we wake up, setting the tone. So we want to make sure that we're setting tones that are going to allow the client to optimize digestion, optimize their well-being and their health. Energy levels have a direct correlation with micronutrients. The worse you eat, the worse you feel, and vice versa. And I have seen this subjectively on myself and clients, even when they're in aggressive calorie deficits. I see clients with more energy in a calorie deficit because they stop eating the bullshit when they're in a surplus. And they have like a 400 calorie surplus and they're, just fitting in bullshit because they have the calories for it. You could drop them back into a 400 calorie deficit. And then they go, oh shoot, I don't have that much food. I need to eat good quality food and have more volume and get my fiber from my berries. And then they literally sit there and go, oh my God, like I feel incredible. I could be on this, I could do this the whole time. I'm like, well, you could have felt like that as well when you were in your surplus. Does that resonate? Do people understand what I'm saying there? Cool. Yeah. And just a fun tidbit, micronutrients are actually essential for your body's ability to properly process macronutrients. So if our micronutrient threshold isn't high enough, your body can't even digest and use the macronutrients that you're eating in the first place. So again, we see people eating shittier food. Their body's not able to properly process it. So they have digestive issues, which develops gut issues, which develops mental health issues, develops hormonal issues. And then the cycle just repeats itself. You guys see you see it? You see the cycles here, the patterns? Yeah. Any questions so far? Awesome. Environment. So this will bleed into and from other sections. And these last couple of sections, they're really not that long. I think we're already more than halfway through the presentation here. But for your clients, where are they spending their time? Are they constantly at their friends' houses who are constantly drinking or constantly partying? Are they constantly at work where it's a super stressful environment? Do they not have their own space? Like those are all really important things. How's the air quality where they live? Another thing that people do not think about. Air quality is like, dude, that's how you get oxygen to your brain to function. If you're living somewhere with terrible air quality or the air quality in your home is poor, well, you're going to have brain fog. How often are they in direct sunlight? How often are they inside staring at a screen? And are they wearing blue light protecting glasses? Half of you guys are not wearing your blue light protecting glasses while you're on this call, right? It's important. This one's interesting. Are they feeling helpless in their current situation? Because the feeling of helplessness has been studied, and it's shown to be one of the top contributors to elevated cortisol levels. When somebody feels helpless, it's one of the highest stress-inducing events that can happen. So if you have somebody who is, not making a lot of money, or they want to move out and they can't, and they quite literally feel helpless, 9 times out of 10, we're going to see blood work off. We're going to see mental off. We're going to see body fat accumulating. Their digestion is going to be off everything because their stress is just so high from not feeling like they're in control. And again, I think this goes back to where are they spending their time, because they're not having their own space. I think all us pushing for our clients to create their own space somewhere is super, super important. And another one for you guys to analyze is, are they supported and heard, or are they talked down to for this lifestyle? How many of you guys have clients that go, I struggle because all my friends make fun of me for tracking, or they don't understand, or, I look like the outcast, right? Like that plays a role in their health. It plays a role in their mental health, which plays a role in their well-being. Make sense? Yeah. Cool. Lifestyle. This one, here we go. Stop enabling toxic shit with your clients. Stop, stop enabling it. So yeah, I said it, stop it. Your athletes getting blackout drunk every weekend and then not eating at all on a Sunday because they're hungover. It's not balance. It's bullshit. Stop enabling toxic shit. And further, alcohol effects on the brain, internal organs, mental state, like they're all self-explanatory. Now, I'm not going to, I am going to sound like a conspirator again, but let's look at society's approach to alcohol versus marijuana versus psychedelics. One of these is wildly accepted and pushed and allowed and even celebrated, and it's a depressant. It suffocates your brain, and it has all these toxic properties in your body. And when somebody's in that state, they're more easily manipulated. And I'm not saying they're trying to manipulate us to control us, but if you look at everything as commerce, what makes more sense in a society? People who are not enlightened, who are constantly depressed and therefore constantly emotionally reactive and significantly more likely to click on something and buy it because it gives them a dopamine hit. When you can kind of look at things more as commerce, to me at least, it does make a lot more sense. So again, there's balance plays a role. Don't get me wrong. I think going out and being social and drinking is a really important part of like the human culture that we have here in America, but stop enabling toxic shit. And they know when it's a ridiculous amount. So not going to bed at a normal hour. You can refer to the circadian rhythm, constantly surrounding themselves with people who do not make them feel safe. So again, this is like the helpless thing. Like if they're always wanting to do something, but their group of friends is like, no, come on, do this instead. And they feel helpless in that choice and they're easily manipulated by that group. That's also going to significantly impact their health and their well-being. And you're going to see it in their physique. Because then they go and do things and they go, I can never stand up for myself. And then, then they feel guilty and they go, well, I'm not cut out for this. And then it's a spiral. And then they start eating like shit and doing this, right? So it ends up becoming that domino that knocks all these other dominoes over. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say there? Cool. Lifestyle continued. Are we prioritizing reducing stress? Are we prioritizing gut health? Are we supporting the liver? And dude, when I say prioritizing, I mean prioritizing. Like not, oh, fuck it. I'm out at a restaurant, so I want this. No, are we going, hey, what do you cook your food in? Oh, can you not cook it in vegetable oil? Can you cook it without that? Like, are you prioritizing your actual gut health? Are you supporting the liver with leafy greens and water intake and everything in between? Are you avoiding hormone disruptors like fragrances? And like when you think about fragrances as hormone disruptors, yeah, this is a very real thing. So detergents, colognes, Febrezes. Have any of you guys ever used like a new scent or a new Febreze or like a new detergent or deodorant, like you break out in rashes and stuff? Has anybody ever experienced that? Yeah. Okay. A couple of you. Yeah. So you kind of can see what's going on there. But over time, those fragrances do have hormonal disruptive properties. And then, BPAs, things like that. So we want to avoid those. What's the airflow in the room where we sleep? So something that a lot of people don't think about. Is it open ventilated or is it closed? Are people just closing their doors and just having their fan on and have no actual air circulating except for what's in that room already? Like, is the bedroom musty? Is there an airflow from outside coming in? This is super important because dust settles. And if you're sitting in a room, or if you're sleeping in a room where there's no constant airflow, you're breathing in dust and dirts and chemicals and fragrances that have just been sitting there and keep being recycled. Does that make sense? So we want to make sure that where we're sleeping, there is a constant, at least during the day. It doesn't have to be while you're sleeping, but throughout the day, like you want to make sure there's open windows and open ventilation. So old air is coming out and new fresh air is coming in. Super, super important. And honestly, if they're using those freaking Glade plugins in their room, get rid of those things. We don't need those. We don't need those fragrances. You can find like organic alternatives to those, but all those name brand stuff is just full of toxins and shit that are just going to end up being hormonal disruptors. So moving forward, are they smoking nicotine? Are they vaping? Why? Why are they doing that? Get to the root and remove it. At the end of the day, smoking cigarettes, smoking vapes, like I'm an advocate of smoking marijuana. Don't get me wrong, but like smoking nicotine, let's just use this for nicotine. There is absolutely zero benefit to your health. There is only detriment. So why are our clients doing that in the first place? Let's address it. Let's get to the root and let's remove that shit, because nicotine in itself causes a whole array of problems: digestive health, changing your gut pH, plaque on your gums, deteriorating your teeth, actually pushing you more into estrogen dominance. It can suppress natural testosterone production, make it harder to recover and build muscle. It's an appetite suppressant, so you're less impeded with your hunger cues. Like there's a lot of things that go into nicotine. So I'm an advocate of, if they're utilizing nicotine, let's pull it the fuck out and get them off of it. And like all the clients I have pulled off of it, same thing that we talked about, in the dark cloud, and then they come out of it and they have that clarity and they go, holy shit, I can't even believe that I thought that was normal. This is a lot deeper than just macros for people. Remember, it's our job as a coach to put these people in the best position possible for their health and their longevity and their families and their babies and everything. So moving on, do they go straight to work when they wake up, or do they have a routine to help them start the morning off in a parasympathetic state? We did cover this in the circadian rhythm, but it's important. So I want to prioritize it again. Are they waking up to their alarm and not giving themselves enough time to actually have a morning routine, wake up, drink some coffee, read a couple pages in a book, go outside and get some steps? Are they going, oh, I got to be at work at 7, so I wake up at 6:15, get dressed and go straight to work? More than likely, nutrient choices aren't going to be proper or aren't going to be proper. They're going to wake up stressed because they're rushed, and then their whole entire day is going to be stressed, rushed, emotionally reactive, digestion is going to be off, and it's just going to continue to be a cycle. Now, a nighttime physiology routine is something that I've actually started developing a little bit more for myself recently, and to get your nervous system in a check or in check to settle down for the night and optimize sleep. So what do I mean by this? Is actually like having your clients be ready for bed and doing like breath work and actually being in tune with their physiology. Because again, breathing and exhaling slow. We talked about this in the last video, right? Big breaths in, or no, the one before that, mitigating stress. Big breaths in through the nose and then slowing it down out on the count of 4. It relaxes your entire nervous system. So nighttime and daytime routines are crucial. I think routines are just everything. So having them go and say, okay, well, when it's 10 minutes before bed, we're going to stretch and we're going to do 15 deep diaphragmatic breaths, no phone's already put away and everything. And then from there, we're going to get in bed, because your physiology, your body stores history, right? Like you have a routine to go to the gym, when you put the music on and you start headbanging in your car or you start dancing, there's a wiring that has happened and you get hyped and you go, it's time for me to work out, because it's ingrained in your physiology. So if we can ingrain, this is what the body goes, oh, okay, this is what we do when we're about to sleep. So it doesn't matter if you're stressed. It doesn't matter if you got a lot of things to do. If you sit down and you stretch and you do your deep breaths, your physiology says, oh, okay, it's time to sleep. And their ability to wind down and fall asleep is going to be so heightened from that. And this is something I've been doing personally. And dude, I count to 3 and I'm dead. I'm completely passed out. So just fun thing. And then, so are they doing that, or are they just watching Netflix until they finally pass out at 2 a.m.? Right? Ask them these questions. Get to know everything about your client's lifestyle. And when you can open it up and you can see everything that they're doing, and then you listen to them about what they're struggling with, you're going to be able to see super clearly, oh, okay, well, this, and this needs to change. And if you change that, you're going to feel 10 times better. Any questions on that, on lifestyle?
Can I ask something about nicotine?
Yeah.
So would you kind of treat it like caffeine and pull it back slowly if they're constantly doing it, or would you cold turkey it?
Yeah, I would definitely wean off, because they're going to have withdrawals. It depends on how long they've been doing it. Like, I mean, I've had some friends vape and they were just like, dude, fuck it, I'm done. And like 3 days, they're like, this fucking sucks. But afterwards, they're like, yeah, I'm glad I did that. So really, it just comes down to, oh my God, what am I doing right now? Really, it just comes down to like what's going to work better for them. But I think that in general, so let's just say let's use cigarettes for an example. Let's say somebody's smoking like 3 packs a week. So you're not just going to cut that cold turkey, because they're going to have a lot of physiological backlash. Pull it down to, 2.5, pull it down to 2, pull it down to 1.5, pull it down to 1, and like you can kind of auto regulate them by how well they're tolerating it. So if you pull it down to 2.5 and they feel fine, then you can maybe drop it to 1.5. And if they feel fine, then you can drop it to 1. They start getting a little aggravated, you go, okay, we're going to go 3/4. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, I would wean it off like caffeine.
Or like do like vapes and cigarettes kind of vary in that difference? Like, because I know vapes are a bit harder to kind of track how many you're.
Yeah, well, here's the thing is I would argue you're actually getting significantly more nicotine from vapes, because people are just chain smoking the whole time. It's like, so think about it like this. Cigarettes are dollar bills. And I want you guys to think about how you spend money when you actually have physical dollar bills in your hand. versus a credit card. The vape is the credit card. When it's a credit card, you just swipe, 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 because you don't see how much money you're actually spending. With a vape, you don't actually see how many cigarettes you're going through. So people just freaking wake up and they start vaping. They're in their house and they vape. They get in the car from the gym and they start vaping. But if you replace that with a cigarette every time, I guarantee you they wouldn't smoke as much. So I would argue that coming off of like vapes is way harder, personally. But I can't truly talk on that because I haven't had like a nicotine addiction. So cool. Moving on. Traumas, unresolved emotions, and stress. This is multi-layered. And it's very well known that traumas or unresolved emotions weigh on the person heavier than almost anything else. And we can see this in multiple studies and literature across the board. When somebody has traumas from their past, it manifests and it holds in different physical sections on them. Stress can stem as a byproduct of unresolved trauma and emotions, and then just perpetuate the issue further physically. So if somebody has a trauma or an unresolved emotion, now it's causing stress, and now that stress in the systems is causing the trauma and the stress to perpetuate further. So it becomes this cycle. So body aches, pains, anxiety spells, loss of appetite, poor mental health, chronic body issues in general, inflammation are all going to be a byproduct of these types of things. And again, that's going to significantly hinder the overall well-being of our athletes. Your body stores trauma physically until it's released. This is super, super important to understand. So have you guys ever seen, has anybody ever seen animals like fight, like actually get into like a fight, and then you pull them apart and they like shake, right? The animals shake, and then like 2 minutes later, they're best friends again. It's because animals don't have egos or like thought processes like we do. Like it's purely mechanisms of action. So they fight to the death. They literally shake out and release all of that trauma, and then they're fine again. Does that make sense? We do not do that. So that like things can manifest that way because again, your body has to release that trauma. Otherwise it holds on to it. You guys can look into somatic work here if you want like more in depth on what actually physically releasing traumas looks like, somatic work. But with that, this one is far out of our scope of practice. So you do need to tread softly when you're noticing a recurring trauma or resolved emotion in a client. Like we're not therapists and we're not mental health practitioners. Now, how you communicate with your athletes is one thing, because like I am very, very in depth with my athletes on all of these things, but I cannot give them mental health advice, right? So I would argue that it's crucial to bring awareness to them about it when you observe it so they can be helped through processing. If you're seeing a recurring theme, again, it's your job to just care about your client. It's not your job to not hurt your client's feelings or like enable toxic shit. So if you see something playing out physically or like food wise or anything like that, it's your job to bring awareness to them so they can get help. Stress we've talked about, and those steps really don't change much in my opinion. It's individual based, but like I said, we've gone over how to lower stress in individuals on multiple videos. So I'm not just going to keep beating the dead horse here. True health, or are there any questions on the trauma side of things? Oh, something just pulled up. No. Okay, so true health is a multifactorial approach and a full lifestyle change. And I think that the lifestyle change part is so crucial for us to ingrain in our clients, because everybody just wants to take a pill or eat a certain thing and be good. And like, no, again, I sound like a conspirator, but society and the country that we are in is not designed for our true health. It's designed for business. It's designed for commerce. It's designed to keep people addicted to foods. It's designed to keep people depressed. It's designed to keep people constantly, like you look at the big pharma, like there's no money in curing disease. There's only money in treating disease, right? So it's important to come at this with those thought processes so that again, we can just help our clients have that full life of health and well-being. What do you guys think?
That was good. That was super good. If you're a conspirator, I'm a conspirator because I agree 100% with
Call me
everything.
crazy.
Yeah, it all makes so much sense.
Yeah. Does everybody kind of see the picture I'm trying to paint here about how just literally everything is tied together in that sense? Does anybody have questions or comments?
I have one sort of.
Yeah.
So I live in Minnesota. It's like -20 overnight. Like I can't open the windows in the house, but like the idea, we want to move. Okay. It's gonna happen eventually. To a warm place. But does anyone have like a recommendation for like a good air filter or like purifier?
Yeah, I would do an air purifier for sure. I don't have like a brand that comes to mind, but yeah, I would do an air purifier in your room for sure.
Yeah. Okay, sweet. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else? Questions, comments?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Pop-Tarts a lot.
Yeah.
I
I love
mean,
my Pop-Tarts, don't get me wrong.
I mean, I haven't done a show in quite some time, but previously in peak week or show day protocol, it's in our programming to have a Pop-Tart, however, before stage. Is that changing moving forward?
No,
Okay,
because again, it's one Pop-Tart's not the issue. It's
daily.
it's again compounding over the course of time. When we're doing something like a Pop-Tart or Rice Krispies or something like that before stage, we're just trying to get a fast acting Jesus, a fast acting insulin response so that we can get those carbs in and get it pumped. That's our only goal there. Like we're not 2 minutes out from stage and we're like, what can we do to optimize health right now?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anybody else? This was a good call. Honestly, I think this might have been my favorite call that I've done. Super,
My favorite call. I like this one a lot.
super important. Well, all right, dudes. Well, if there's no more questions, comments, or concerns, I will let you guys go and enjoy your amazing Wednesday. Yeah, we stop recording.